Hi there, I'm Mary Lyle, Director of Education at the Western Heritage Museum and Lee County Cowboy Hall of Fame. I recently was able to visit Lincoln County, New Mexico, and there was so much to see and do. Today I want to take you for a brief visit, an overview of their wonderful museum. As you walk into the museum, you're going to stop at the visitor center, and there is an admission fee that is going to get you into all of the other historic sites in Lincoln, including the courthouse and some of the other historic homes. So there is a lot to learn, and they've done a great job of educating the public about Lincoln, about the whole area, and how it has been so important to so many different kinds of people. The earliest inhabitants, of course, were Native Americans. And to the Mescalero, the Sierra Blanca, or the White Mountain, is considered to be their most sacred mountain. They believe that the spirits there are so important to their tribe, to their ancestors, and everything that has to do with the Mescalero Apache. And when you go to the museum, you're going to be able to see some of the artifacts and get a little bit more information about these people. There is so much to consider. There are so many people who have contributed a lot. And as you go through, you'll be able to understand some more. Hunted on this land for thousands and thousands of years. They have sacred rituals and sacred artifacts. I was interested by the explanation of how the Mescalero Apaches got their names. There's all kinds of different tribes that are part of the bigger Apache family. So the Mescaleros got their name because they harvested mescal, kind of a cactus or a yucca plant, and they used it for food. They used it in their ceremonies. It was a very important plant. So the Spanish settlers observed how they harvested the mescal. Because of that, they called them the Mescaleros. Beautiful, beautiful garments here. Beautiful leather shirts. You can see hunting implements. And also be able to see some of their beadwork. I'm not going to go to every single part of the museum. I want you to know that the first European contact came from the Spanish settlers. And they came with the Spanish conquistadors from Mexico up through New Mexico, and they were trying to convert the Native Americans to their religion, which was the Christian religion. After the Spanish settlers, then came the Anglo Settlers, and they were coming through the vast area of the New Mexico territory, which at the time included parts of Arizona as well. And so the army set up forts all across the trails in order to protect the settlers and their interests. So one of these forts is Fort Stanton. In the Lincoln Museum, there is a lot of good information about the Army, about Fort Stanton, and the settling of this area. It also encompasses the contributions of the Buffalo Soldiers. The Buffalo Soldiers were freed slaves who then enlisted in the Army, and they came west as part of the cavalry and the infantry, and they were stationed at these forts. So they are part of the history and the story too. That's another culture. There's a wonderful display here about Fort Stanton and the cavalry. They've got lots of artifacts, guns, uniforms, different things like that. Then something that always interests me, I'm into fashion, as are a lot of us. And they have some great examples and sort of see what the women wore. And they weren't that fancy. So I've given you a couple of examples of the dresses that were worn. New Mexico was still a territory. Lincoln at the time was not a county yet. It became a county in January of 1869. And it was named in honor of President Abraham Lincoln. The territory is growing, settlers are coming in, and you have a lot of these forts, Fort Stanton being one, but that means that those soldiers need to be fed. And cattle became quite a profitable business. And that is what is at the heart of the Lincoln County Wars. So the Lincoln County War was a struggle for power and influence. And the main players in it were the L.G. Murphy and Company, and that is L.G. Murphy, his partner Emil Fritz, Emil Fritz's son-in-law J.G. Dolan, and W.J. Marin. So that was the group that was controlling everything. They were really not ranchers, but they had started a ranch. And they were buying cattle also from people like John Chisholm. Well, they were stealing from him as well as buying from him. So he enlisted the aid of a lawyer, Alexander McSween, and his friend, John Tunstall. And they formed an alliance that was going directly up against L.G. Murphy and his company. The Murphy gang decided that they had to get rid of Tunstall. And that's where William J. Brady came in. He and his deputies ambushed Tunstall and killed him. Well, Billy the Kid and his friends did not let that rest. Tunstall had been very good to a group of cowboys. And one of those cowboys was the man that we know of as Billy the Kid. So he and a lot of the other loyal friends of Tunstall and his ranch hands formed what they called the Regulators. And they felt like they were legally empowered to go after the murderer or murderers of John Tunstall. It culminated in a 5-day fight on the streets of Lincoln. A lot of people got killed, a lot of the Regulators, some of Murphy and Dolan's men, and it finally ended when the Army intervened. Just remember that main battle was all about trying to see who was going to wield the power in Lincoln. I encourage you to visit. They've got some great artifacts and a lot of interesting information. Learn all about this part of your New Mexico history.